Hey guys, I'm gonna talk to you guys today about tuning this G37 and what was wrong with the car when it first came here with the factory tune and what I did everything to fix it to get the most power out of it. So the first issue we were having was this car was running super lean in the middle to low RPM ranges, as you can see here. It wasn't making that much torque, and then it was running too rich, way too rich, like in the low 11s, mid 11 AFRs, over 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. So you want it to be a little bit rich, but that was way too rich, and I figured it out. I leaned it out somewhere where it liked it, around like 12 and a half, it liked it more. And then the lean spots in the lower RPM, I added more fuel on the lean spots at the lower RPM to about, it liked it right around the 13 and a half ranges when it made the most torque and power without knocking. And then the ignition timing on these cars, I've tuned a lot of these 3.7s, the VQ37 HRs, and I've seen when they're NA with full bolt-ons, they don't like to really advance and mess around too much with the timing. So what I do is I just advance it where it needs it, and I leave a lot of the timing curve, I just smooth it out, I leave it mostly alone, just smooth it out. And then the throttle bodies, they also close at around like 7,400, 7,300, they just close on their own. So I made it to where they close all the way up to like 76. That's why you hear that harder cutoff at the rev limiter. It's like an actual bounce, not just a drone like what these cars do from the factory. They just drone at the rev limiter. I lowered the fan temps too, so that way the car runs a little bit cooler. And also these cars, from what I've seen, they don't make the most power from ignition timing. They make the most power from the VVL system in the heads, the intake and exhaust cams. It's very similar to the VQ35 DE, the rev up motor, and the HR motor. They make the most power usually from the cam tuning. And these cars is from the cam tuning along with the VVL lift tuning. And that's where I make the most power using this uprev software. We have the dealer software, uprev. That's where I've seen these cars make the most power, and that's how they make the most gains, as you can see on the dyno chart. It's a hot day. It's super hot today. It's like 97 degrees right now in Florida. That's not even accounting for humidity. It's 97 degrees right now. So that we're able to pull this kind of power at 97 degrees isn't bad, when, you know, I was monitoring knock and everything too. We'll show you a quick run around with what the car's got going on. You can talk with the owner, he'll tell you everything we did to the car. So this is the owner of the vehicle, his name is Juan. It's his second vehicle. His first car was a G35, and we souped up, and now he's got this. And this makes more power and everything. So tell him what we did before.
I got intakes, straight pipe, and then I got test pipes, they installed them. And I've been bringing it here to get tuned since I first got the car. It made more power than it did last time, so I'm happy.
Yeah, he did the suspension himself. We did the alignment. He did the headlights. He did some of the body stuff himself too. But the three best mods for this car, hands down, have to be intakes that pull air from behind the grill. Number one, that actually pull air from behind the grill, not from the engine bay. Those I've seen those make less power or same power as factory. The ones that just pull air, that they stop the short ram right at the engine bay. Those are kind of a waste of money. These are really what you want to go with. Something that pulls real cold air from behind the grill, behind the headlight, something of that sort. And mostly Stillin' I've seen makes the best one. Stillin' and Admin Tuning, they make a good one too. It's a 3-inch. And then the test pipes. This one, what brand test pipes are they? Infiniti test pipes. And he's got a buffer delete and white pipe and resonator delete in the middle. So it's pretty much straight piped after the test pipes. But almost any aftermarket exhaust is a dual aftermarket exhaust or a single, like 2.5, 3 inch is good enough, way better than factory. And those are the three best bang for buck that I've seen on these cars. That I've seen that make the most power along with tuning. Everything else is worth it too, but it doesn't give it as much power as this does for the simplicity of the setup. And as you can see with the dyno results, this car came in making about, before tuning, it was like 290, 287, something like that. So I can only imagine on this dyno, because this reads less than the dynojet, this car probably in the factory made about 280, 275, somewhere around there. I'm imagining, you know, before mods, before tuning, before everything. So that's roughly about 35, 40 wheel horsepower gain. It's really, those are really good numbers for a car like this. Okay, so the number one thing we need to tune the car is the uprev software on my laptop. And number two would be the dyno. Our setup is a Dyno Dynamics 2-wheel drive dyno. It's rated up to about 1200 horsepower. And it does the majority of cars that we work on here. So this car, it's the above ground kit, it's got the ramps. And we have the wideband hooked up. It graphs torque, it graphs boost, it graphs IAT if we want to probe the intake air temperature sensor if we're just out of curiosity. And then back here we have the wideband that we stick in the exhaust. What I like to do on the final pulls is what I'll do is I'll stick the wideband in one exhaust, and then I'll switch it over and I'll put it in the other one just to make sure that both banks of the engine are right where the fuel needs to be. And usually 9 times out of 10 it's perfectly even. Sometimes I have to sit there and make a little tweak to one side or the other. But yeah, we have it strapped up here, above ground kit. We strap it up on the axles. We've done trucks, we've done cars. And the retarder for the dyno is right here. So it's a steady state dyno. It has load testing and all that stuff. It's a really good dyno. It can replicate going uphill, towing. It can replicate all those situations. Instead of just wide open throttle, this dyno we can tune part throttle. We can tune, like say a situation we're going uphill and it's a lot of load on the wheels. We could do all that with the dyno and adjust the air fuel ratio and the timing and knock and all that, depending how much load we put on these back wheels. And all the load can be changed. It can be changed, you know, you can add as much load as you want, as little as you want. So it's a tool that takes a while to learn how to get to know how to use it, but it's definitely a really good tool once you learn how to use it, especially when it comes to tuning and trying to tune like real world situations. I've seen some tuners, what they'll do is they'll tune wide open throttle on the dyno, and they'll go and they'll tune on the street just to get those lower RPMs, that part throttle tuning and all that. I don't have to do that with this dyno, because this dyno I could do all that here with the load settings. I could do all of that here. I could put it in a high gear, low gear, and change the loads and act like I'm going uphill or I'm stalling the engine out, like 6th gear at 40 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour. I can replicate all that stuff here without having to leave the dyno, without the car even having to go on the street. I just wanted to walk through and just show you guys our setup, show you the difference of the things we can do with our dyno versus other dynos, and just to give you guys a better idea of how we get things done here and the kind of workmanship that goes into the tuning jobs I do here. These cars, we're actually running a really good deal right now, a really good special on tuning any Nissan or Infiniti 2003 and up. So I'd recommend checking out our Instagram, Facebook, our website. If you want to book an appointment, check our website out too. And yeah, we tune other cars. We do Chevy, Ford. We do a lot of LS motors. We do some Mazda stuff. We do some Mitsubishi stuff. A lot of Nissan, tons of Nissan, some Toyota, some Honda stuff. Also Dodge and Chrysler. We're using HP tuners for Dodge and Chrysler. And we're also using Galbo Sport to tune them. And we can tune those too. We might make a video later, because that has been a really popular thing lately, because there isn't a lot of people that tune those cars. So we're going to come out with a video doing that soon, so stay tuned. If you have any questions, need inquiries on pricing, you can text us, email us, give us a call. We're always available. Texting, we're always available. Just give us a shout. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day. Have a good one.